You know what that guy knows? Well, actually, he knows a great deal, but what he really knows is the importance of safety. You look around a place like this, you see it everywhere. Look at the sign up there. As if there could be any doubt. Safety first. Always, 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 over and over and over. But you want to hear the dirty truth? Safety's not really ever first. Safety generally, as best I can figure, is third. The reason I believe safety should be third is that it's so important, you can't really put it at number one. Because if you put it at number one and say it over and over and over again, you start to get complacent. And this is what's happened to me over the last 4 or 5 years. I've broken fingers, fractured toes, and cracked ribs, and fused my own contact lenses to my eyes once. And every single time I've hurt myself, it's always been in that fraction of a moment where I take my eye off the ball and I start to think that maybe somebody somewhere cares more about my well-being than me. It is always a mistake to let that happen. And the more banners you see reminding you of how important safety is, for me anyway, the more complacent I become. So, on the Dirty Jobs crew, we started to say safety third, just to remind you that ultimately it was on you. I'll tell you a story. About 3 years ago, maybe 4, I was on a crab boat called the Bountiful up in the Bering Sea, fishing for king crabs with those lunatics up there, right? And we were about 200 miles off the coast of Russia. The wind was blowing about 40. The seas were easily 35 feet. And the crew was out there working. And I was out there with them, trying not to get killed. And I went up on a stack of crab pots that were stacked on the back of the boat, and I was helping unlash them, and I was scared-less. I mean, very, very frightening. And eventually I just couldn't take it anymore. I scrambled down off the pots, down to the deck, and I went up to the wheelhouse, and I went in, and the captain is hunched over the wheel. He's like, he's doing his thing, and the green water's coming over the bow, and it's just so ridiculously hazardous. I looked at him, and I said, Cap, OSHA? And he looks at me and says, OSHA? Ocean. And we had a little laugh. And I'm like, no, seriously, I've been all over your boat. I don't see any signs about safety. I don't see any special guards or rails what's going on here? And he said, son, I'm the captain of a crab boat. My job is not to get you home alive. My job is to get you home rich. You want to come home alive? That's on you. I got it. In that moment, I got it. Nobody was looking out for me other than me. I spent every second on that boat grabbing on to every single thing I could and not letting go. I put safety first, second, third, fourth, all the way down the list. I never took my eye off it. So, it's not that we don't think safety is the most important thing. It's just that when you keep saying it's first, you got to wonder where everything else falls into place. Don't be that guy. Be careful. Safety third. Always in the top 5 anyway. That's the dirty truth.